this message is a twofold message, y'all. And it's you can't act right if you aren't right. And it applies to yourself, and it definitely applies to other people. So do yourself this favor if it applies to other people that you're currently dealing with in your life. Stop trying to figure out the why. Stop trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing to you, why they're mistreating you and you've done nothing to them, why they don't like you and you're just being yourself. Stop trying to figure out their intention, because the fact remains that they can't do right if they aren't right. So if they're love bombing you, or if they're saying all the right things and their behavior is demonstrating otherwise, that means that they not right. Especially if it doesn't make sense, their behavior towards you, it means that they have some inner healing that needs to happen, some inner calibration. And they might really truly believe that in their mind, in their distorted world, that you've done something to them to justify how they're behaving towards you. But a lot of times people that need a lot of healing tend to project. They tend to project whatever insecurities, whatever harms, whatever trauma that they've experienced onto other people. It's just a fact. So please, my loves, stop taking personal what people are projecting onto you, and understand that it really isn't about you, it's about them. Now, if this message is resonating with you for yourself, we hold ourselves, those of us who are waking up, those of us who are conscious and trying to be intentional, we know that we're not perfect, but we know we can strive to improve, to be the best versions of ourselves every day. And a lot of times we always want to do right, but sometimes we find ourselves challenged to do right because we aren't right. And what that means, y'all, is we got a lot of healing to do. Y'all, I have been on a multi-year journey of healing, and it's not done, and nor do I think it will stop anytime soon, y'all. But there are levels to this ascension. But I realized through my dark walk, like when I could finally start seeing myself, y'all, because there was a time when I thought that people were just doing stuff to me and I was a victim. And, like I didn't see myself clearly. I didn't see how I was with my kids. I didn't see how I was letting people run over me. I didn't see that my boundaries were problematic. I didn't see that I had lost my warmth in my heart. I didn't see that I was confusing performance with presence, and that I was easily distracted, or that I was selfish and focused in my work life and not attentive enough to the people around me. I couldn't see myself until I could see myself. And so that impacted my ability to do right, to be right, to be present with the people in my life. Even though I was well-intentioned, I just couldn't see what I couldn't see. And that is the case for a lot of people, y'all, including our parents and people that we love. And I always try to keep that in mind, right? When people are doing things to trigger me, or upset me, I'm like, they are just literally at their own phase of the journey that they're in, and they cannot see themselves yet. But that doesn't mean that I should allow them to continue to be in my present field, or left unchecked or identified or called out to correct that behavior. Even if they don't understand it now, it can be identified, but they might not have the capacity in their nervous system to even be able to really understand what that means in practicality, in terms of how to change their behavior, how to adjust themselves, how to heal themselves, how to stop that pattern in their behavior, how to stop that projection that they have. But you can decide to put some distance if they cannot integrate that change into their reality, because their nervous system or their emotional maturity or their spiritual consciousness or their subconscious is not yet ready to hold that new changed behavior, y'all. I hope that this is making sense. I'm trying to break it down as simply as I can so you can understand, because it really is not in your best interest, your best welfare, your well-being, to chase after people who simply do not have the capacity to do right because they are not right in themselves. Nor is it fair to yourself to hold yourself accountable when you're not right, or you want to do better but you're not yet at that place to be better, because you have to do the internal recalibration. You have to do the internal healing on yourself first in order to be right for other people, y'all. We so often get caught up in performance and exceeding and being successful for everyone else and for everything outside of ourselves, or we neglect our families and focus on work and everything else outside of ourselves. But the reality is, it starts ground zero. You are the 0 point, and everything else should animate from around you. So if this message is resonating with you at all, you are so powerful. And today you have the time right now to just make a decision that I want to do right. And in order for me to do right and do better, I have to be better, and I choose to be better. And I choose to give myself the grace to be better at my own timeline, not at somebody else's timeline, on mine. And that I can give myself the grace to be honest with people about that, to allow them to make a decision about whether or not they want me to continue to be in their presence while I am working on me. And sometimes it isn't that we are bad people, it's just that the timing isn't right, or the alignment isn't right, or the capacity isn't right, or the location isn't right. There's so many different reasons, y'all, but we have to be able and willing to give people that information so that they can decide for themselves, and we can decide for ourselves if people are equally honest with us about what they can or cannot. And herein lies another layer. Most people live in denial and illusions and not truth. And so this conversation that I'm having with you, where people can be honest about their capacity, their integration, their ability to do right because they are healing themselves. A lot of people are not yet there at their stage of development and evolution. And so you might deal with a lot of people who will deny, and they will only deny, they will lash out or try to harm you in some way, whether it's gossip or just, whatever it is. So I want you to understand that too, and then it always comes down to your decision about what you want in your field. What do you want around you? What are you willing to tolerate? But whatever you decide, whether it's for yourself or another person, if you've made a decision today that you want to do better, and in order to do better, you've got to be better, then let this be your wake-up call to choose yourself and to choose to be better. And then also to surround yourself with people who have decided to do better because they've decided to be better for themselves and for you, because they love you and because they love themselves and they're ready to stand on it. All praise to the Most High God. I hope that this message is helpful. I hope that it's relevant. Shalom Tukai. Peace.